It was my idea and you copied it. There we go.
I had
Of course you did.
to. I'm always
Of course
biting
you
this
did.
man's style. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I like
I'm
your
a man of
style.
style. Thank you very much. Is it the mustache?
Well,
Makes me look sophisticated.
I feel like you robbed my mustache, alright?
Actually, yeah, I did. I saw yours and I gotta go with what it is. I am Smarky Mark.
I am straight up TKD.
And this is,
Another wrestling show.
yes, another wrestling show, but we're better than the other wrestling shows. We know that. We have critics, but we don't listen to them. We don't listen to them at all.
We don't listen, but we appreciate your comments and inputs at the same time, right?
We do, and we are here right now to review
Saturday night's main event.
what you said. We're here to review Saturday Night's Main Event 2, the second in their since their return, and show just ended, and let's get into it.
Yeah, it was a great show overall. I have to say, it started off hot with we're doing this typical sort of like entrances of superstars things lately on Monday Night Raws, SmackDowns, and tonight we had a limo pull in, and was it going to be Hulk Hogan? No.
I think they learned their lesson from
It
2
was
weeks
not.
ago. I think they learned their lesson.
It was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Great to see Ted. Speaking of people who just evaded legal charges, but
Yeah. He's not off the hook yet, is he? I know his son definitely isn't, but it was nice to see Ted, and then we got Jesse the Body Ventura back as well.
Back as well. It was great to see him on the mic and everything like that. Commentary tonight, Jesse was brilliant.
Yes, I thought he did a hell of a job. Back to where he belongs.
And then we started off with our first match of the night, which was for the Women's World Championship.
Yes, Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax.
You know what? Their chemistry showed from their match that they had at Elimination Chamber last year.
Yeah, main eventing Elimination Chamber in Australia. So tonight.
I feel like this was another really good, hard-hitting match between like two of the bigger, taller women of the roster. They're not necessarily like, most women are 5'6", and Nia Jax is 6'1", 6'2", and then Rhea Ripley's about almost 6 foot as well. So, and it was cool to see Rhea Ripley in this match too, doing some more of her high flying type of ability, type of stuff. So overall, what would you rate this match on the Wrestle scale, Marcus? Actually, just before we get into that, Rhea ended up winning the match with the Riptide at about 9 minutes 23 seconds.
With a 3-minute commercial break, so we saw about 6.5 minutes of that.
Which kind of affected the flow of the match, watching as a viewer, right?
Just as a whole, overall tonight, these commercial breaks I found very poorly timed in a lot of the matches. They went to commercial break about 1.5 minutes into this match, not very wise, but okay, as a whole, I did think this was a good match. This was more of a condensed match of their match last year in Australia.
Yeah.
We only saw about 6.5 minutes of it, but what we saw was very good. This is Nia's best match in, I can't even remember how long. I enjoyed it, moved very fast. Right off the bat, Rhea with that tilt-a-whirl DDT, and then that dive to the outside, that was a great way to kick things off. Mm-hmm. Code Red from Rhea, which looked really good.
So with all that being said, some great spots during the match. What would you rate it on the Wrestle scale with Rhea winning via the Riptide here?
Yeah, the Riptide. So I would say this was about a solid 6 out of 10. I thought that for the time that they had, they did probably the best they could. I really got into this match. The crowd was white hot for Rhea Ripley. So I thought this was a fun way to kick things off. Could have used a few more minutes, but for what they had, I'd say a solid 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, you know what? I would have to agree on the Wrestle scale. I would put it at a 6 out of 10 as well. We saw some other good spots from Nia hitting a nice big leg drop off the second rope. Huge crossbody from Rhea from the top rope to the outside on Nia. Sparked a "This is awesome" chant. Yep. Yeah, it was great. And then a spot I personally loved during the match was Nia hits the Annihilator. And then she's almost about to go up for a second one, and Rhea just clutches at her leg, oh please, no, I can't take it. With her
gasping breath.
It was almost like Austin Powers, please, no more, I can't take any more. Come on.
But she did manage to stop her in time, hit an electric chair out of that position.
Yeah, so that was cool. So, but overall, like you said, it was kind of a condensed match, so I would go with 6 out of 10 on that one as well.
Yes. We then move on to Mark Henry and Alundra Blaze in the crowd, showing a couple more legends. They've been doing this lately with all their big events. I do enjoy seeing these legends back again. Mm-hmm. Alundra Blaze, in my opinion, looked really good. What did you call her when you saw her? The Grim Reaper, was it?
No,
Alondra, are you watching?
I didn't say the Grim Reaper. I said the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, yeah, much better. Much better. I thought she looked good.
Don't hate me, Alondra. Don't hate me,
Alondra, you look great.
Don't hate me.
Coming up, we had Sheamus and Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental
IC Championship. Yes, the IC Championship. And Braun Breaker ended up coming up on this one via the spear at about 11:34 minutes and seconds. And you know what? It was a really good match. It was intense. It was everything it really needed to be from this one. It really had some great near falls during it where I thought Sheamus was really going to win the title.
Yep.
But overall on the wrestle scale, I'm thinking I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10.
Good fair rating. I liked it a little bit more than you. I went to 7 out of 10. I thought this was a really good match. Again, for the time that they had, I thought this is another match that could have used a couple more minutes. This one, at least they waited until about 3 minutes in to go to commercial. Before commercial break, there was a huge brawl. Then one of the biggest spots of the night, Sheamus lawn darting Braun over the barricade.
Right
which
into
looked insane.
Yeah, right into one of those office chairs. He just like bounced off it. It was fantastic.
Immediately afterwards, Sheamus dives off the stairs and right into a spear. That leads us into commercial.
Yeah.
So that was a better way to go into commercial than a minute in.
Oh man, and just the way like they collided in midair from that spear was just like I almost thought somebody was gonna get hurt.
Yeah, everyone was okay for that.
Oh, and another great spot during this match was just like Sheamus getting slapped by Braun and just, you slap like a female dog.
We have a female dog in this room right now, so he's trying to be classy about that. There was
no need to go there.
Yeah, Sheamus with there were 16 shots to the chest on the apron. Celtic Cross right out of that for 2. That was a close 2.
Yeah, big.
Goes to the top rope. Braun gets a Frankensteiner, which I saw Survivor Series live. Seeing Sheamus take the Frankensteiner will never not get old.
Yeah.
My God, that looked really good.
Oh man, and Braun didn't kill himself for once off of that move.
Yes, Sheamus right back up with the bro kick. That got 2. That got a very close 2.
And Braun got his foot on the rope during that spot, and the ref. It looked like he counted 3, but Jesse Ventura just went off the rails at this point, just going total classic Jesse Ventura. The ref counted 3. I saw it. I saw it. Don't tell me I wasn't there.
No,
he saw it.
He saw it. Ventura was not going to let him. Was not
terrible impression. Sorry.
That is close enough. Ventura would not let him get away with that. And yeah, the referee's hand did hit 3, but he saw the foot on the ropes. They both get back up. Sheamus goes for a second bro kick. His ribs give out. So Braun hits him with a spear, and that does get the 3.
Yeah.
And the retain.
Yeah, great match. Like I said, I would have gone 6.5 out of 10 on that, and
I'd say 7.
Full 7. So, and then we moved on to the big old contract signing. Who doesn't love a contract signing segment in 2025? If you don't,
well, they're all so different from one another.
If you don't love it, and if you don't think they're all different and special and their own unique little snowflakes in some way, then I detest you. And I also question your loyalty as a WWE fan. Okay?
Are you missing any medication? Yeah. We forgot to take some before we started turning on the camera. I can see that coming out of your eyes right now.
On another note, I hated this goddamn segment.
Again, take your meds before we turn on the camera. Before that, I just want to mention one thing. In the crowd, we see Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Dory Funk Jr.
Oh my God, he's reminded me of the Grinch. Dory Funk is still living?
Yes. That was kind of a shot. He looks really good.
Oh my
He's from
God.
Texas, so
yeah, it's amazing.
I went crazy for him.
Dory Funk, tough as nails.
Yeah. Jim Duggan.
Live forever.
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 Jim Duggan a couple of years ago survived his second battle with cancer, so really good to see him up and about.
Yeah.
Looked really into it. The crowd gave him a great reaction too. Mm-hmm. But now on to the contract signing. All I wrote here, this was a fun segment, but this was like every other contract segment there was. Sean was very over. It's his hometown. Seeing him hit Sweet Chin music at the end was great. Kevin Owens, as always, was on fire in this promo. For the promo, so
and it's cool that they're still rocking the whole winged eagle gimmick going into it, and they are holding both belts up, almost like via 1994 Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels going into WrestleMania 10.
And also Cody Rhodes'
Who's
last
the real
match.
champion?
And also Cody Rhodes' last match in All Elite Wrestling was against Sammy Guevara, for the double title.
Interesting.
The double TNT title. So we're getting that again.
And you know what I also felt like with your every regular contract signing segments that we're used to. You know, there's a table there. Somebody goes through the table after some heated words. But I feel like the heated words were really good here. And Kevin going to his honest opinion, justifying his reasons, how he didn't go after Cody's leg during their match at Bash in Berlin, really kind of put some truth behind his words, even though you don't want to like him for it, but it just adds that kind of spicy element to it. I liked it. Mm-hmm. And then HBK also just saying, like, you just sound jealous, leading to Kevin Owens almost powerbombing him with Cody making the save and then him finally hitting the super kick, like you said. Great stuff. Overall, like, I would say, like, if I was going to grade this segment, I would give it a B+.
Yeah. I go with about a B. Again, like, aside from Kevin's delivery, wasn't really any different from any other contract signings that we see, but the crowd was pretty hot for this. This was a good way to spend 15 minutes or so I was fine with it, and I am really looking forward to their match at the Rumble.
Oh, and I especially love that line of how Kevin was just like, I'm not a champ who's going to lose his smile. Like, oh, that
and
was
Sean started
stuff.
corpsing, had to look down to cover that actual smile he was performing.
I forgot. I wanted to really mention that because that was great.
Yes.
And then we went into our next match, which was
a monstrous match, Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu, yes. Mm-hmm. And this was everything you'd think it would be.
Yeah.
This was a very meaty match.
I kind of thought it would end up with a non-finish. Like, I don't think they officially announced it, but I would rule this as Jacob Fatu got DQ'd. Considering he wouldn't stop, threw the ref out, everything like that.
As soon as he puts his hands on the ref, that was when. Yeah.
WWE can do what they want. Sometimes they'll do stuff like this where they rule it as a no contest, like Michaels and Austin, King of the Ring 97.
Right, yeah.
They were both super kick to one ref,
Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker.
Yeah, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But overall, like, the action was hot and heavy. They start off with good big Hossman stuff, like ended with Jacob Fatu looking monstrous. On the wrestle scale, though, if I'm going to rate this match, 9 minutes, 15 seconds with that commercial break in between. To reiterate, like, the commercial breaks kind of killed some of the momentum of some of the matches, so 5 out of 10. And that's just match to match, not also including the post-match, as Gorilla Monsoon would say, the extracurricular activities.
Right, and in this case, the extracurricular actually outshone the main course, as it were. This was a brawl from the beginning. Again, they go to commercial a minute in, so that really took away from what I was doing, because I just wanted to see big guys beating the crap out of each other. We did get that when we came back, a lot of brawling.
There was that shoulder block.
I would say Braun goes to the outside, tackles Fatu into the barricade, does the second one into over the announce table.
And he, like, flips over the announce table.
What a bump from Jacob Fatu. And Fatu counters the third one into a Samoan drop on the table, and that's how he takes over, throws him in the ring, and hits, I counted 6. I call them ass to faces. I don't know if anyone's calling them anything else.
Ass
Butt to noses. I don't know what you want to call. Avalanches. That's a good term for it. Yeah,
standing cannonball, whatever you want to call it. It looks brutal every time it's done.
The ref tries to break it up. Fatu throws him to the outside, and that's when we get the disqualification. And we see Braun bleeding from the mouth.
And face, it kind of just looked like a bunch of fake blood was just smeared on his face.
He bit down on a condom. And it came started spurting out from everywhere.
It was ketchup. It
may have been ketchup. But anyway, the post-match was really where it got interesting. Fatu looked like an insane madman, hits 3 BMEs.
Yeah, after the crowd just going like, one more time, and then after the second one going Fatu. Yeah, man.
So I don't know if the plan is to turn him babyface.
It was insane.
If this was a planted seed, they did a hell of a job. I did love this. I'm hoping I know it's going to lead to a rematch down the line, maybe last man standing or something along those lines. But I enjoyed this for what it was. My wrestle skill, but I would give it a 4 for the actual match. But if we're counting this as a whole segment, by the end, this was like an A segment by the end of when it was all said and done. I look forward to what they do next, and I wish this would have been a bit longer. Again, the commercial break really screwed with this, but for what it was, I wish they would have had a finish, but I enjoyed it.
I would say definitely I would have to agree, and especially as a segment or something to get a talent that much more over with the crowd, mission accomplished.
Mission.
Jacob Fatu, this Texas crowd just absolutely ate it up. And it's not even like that. Like, Jacob Fatu was a guy who was more so prominently performing in the Northeast and doing, some West Coast shots and, pretty much all over. But, MLW would be more so in the Northeast. So, you know what I mean? Like, him getting this type of a reaction, being this deep into his run, which hasn't been very long, was phenomenal.
It looks like maybe this can lead to a few match at least with him and Roman Reigns down the line. That's something I would look forward to. So anyway, on from there, we see the Brainbusters in the crowd.
Yeah,
they show up.
Brainbusters!
That was also a very welcome surprise.
Yes.
Tully Blanchard saying, "Look at me, not my daughter." Which then leads us into the main event of the evening for the world title. It is Gunther defending against Jey Uso.
Yes, Jey Uso, yeet, going up against Gunther here. It was a really good match, actually. I thought it was, I'd say this was the match of the night, actually. Gunther coming out with the victor. I mean, I think that was almost like a foregone conclusion to a lot of people, but at the same time, a very good, convincing back and forth match.
Sorry, before you go on, I just want to point out one other thing. This one and the opener both had the special ring intros with those old school Saturday Night's Main Event mics. Those looked really cool.
With the neon sign above it.
And that both of them
really cool.
Was funny. Nia Jax attacked Rhea Ripley at the bell, and then right here, Gunther, the first one of this match, booted Jey Uso at the bell. So those mics are very unlucky for the baby faces. Yes, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem at all. So anyway, it ended with a double powerbomb by Gunther around the 16:43 mark. So I would rate this on the wrestle scale as a 7 out of 10. I think they could have used a little bit more time, but at the same time, it was also still really intense. Good key elements with Jay getting his arm worked. Good stuff there. And just good striking trade-offs. Really good false counts, like big 2 counts on Gunther by Jay. Mark, what did you think?
I would agree with that rating. I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10 too. This one, the commercial break, because there were two. There weren't one, there were two. They went to commercial about a minute and a half in.
Again, yeah, the commercial
and then
breaks
about
really,
a couple minutes after that. For the first half of this match, pretty much just Jay getting his butt kicked by Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
But the last 5 minutes or so of this match after they go back from that commercial, it was pretty much one big move after the other, and it was pretty tremendous. So
yeah, like as soon as Gunther hit a big drop kick combo and then hit the power bomb out of that, and then Jay kicked out, all of a sudden it was just like big stuff for Jay. Like, Jay hits the super kick for a big 2 count.
Right after a huge German from Gunther, yep.
Yeah, slips out of a superplex, hits a big sit-out powerbomb for a big 2 count, counters the powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana, and then hits a spear right after that for a huge 2 count, and then hits another 2 super kicks, and then another spear.
Which gets a 2.9 count. No. That was a very close count.
And then the big splash for a big 2 count after that. Like, so it was crazy. It was crazy.
And then Gunther right after that with a double powerbomb. That does get the 3. He retains. So, as a whole, again, I did think this was, particularly I thought the last 5 minutes were great.
Yeah, so like I said, I thought a 7, so...
7 seems about right. I said, 7 out of 10. 7 seems about right.
Yeah.
If this would have been, again, if the commercial breaks weren't placed where they were, and if this maybe would have, like you said, a bit more time, maybe around 20 minutes, to give Jay a bit more time before that comeback at the end, I think it probably would have been better.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy this for what it was, again, particularly those last 5 minutes. I don't see where Gunther's, who Gunther's next opponents are going to be right now. I don't know if he's going to have a rematch with Jay, but
John Cena?
That's WrestleMania. Rumored.
Next big opponent.
But yeah, we got to see who's going to be in between John Cena, if it is going to be John Cena. So yeah, this leads us into the Royal Rumble next weekend. So I thought this was a very fun way to spend 2 hours.
Who do we face at the Rumble? Yeah, it was a very fun way to spend 2 hours. Yes, Jinx, you owe me a Coke, sir. Anyways, Saturday night's main event overall, as this show was, I would probably give it a grade of B+. We had a lot of good matches, condensed matches, a lot of good shout-outs to the people who brought us to the dance in terms of what got us here, in terms of why we're even throwing back to an event like Saturday night's main event. You know what I mean? So it was good overall, just like the first edition that they brought back in December.
Yep, I agree. This was, again, a very fun way to spend 2 hours. I wasn't expecting a pay-per-view or premium live event quality. Like you used the best term there, condensed. Every match minus the main kind of felt condensed, kind of felt like they could have done a bit more, but everyone was, the crowd especially was very hot for the night, the San Antonio crowd, so it made the show very fun. I enjoyed it. It flowed very nicely, so I got no complaints. And I would say a solid B for me. Solid B.
Okay,
Solid B.
So,
good show.
Yeah, we're pretty close on the mark here. So anyways, it was a great show. I hope you enjoyed our review. Make sure you want to like, comment, share, subscribe, and just let us know what you thought. And if you hated it, if you loved it, put it all out there.
All feedback is welcome, and we'll see you next week for the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
30 men, 1 Lions then.
Adios.